Peace, peace, love and light sound. How's everybody doing? Let me get started here. Welcome to Metaphysical Monday. Welcome to Calligraphy TV. And if you're watching from Denim Design, welcome in. Just lighting us up some candles to get the ambiance going. These are green, inspiring the opening of the heart chakra. Also grounding, growth, healing. All of that green energy that we need to resonate with earth energy. And you can also hear the flickering of the fire in the background as well. I thought it was fitting. I'm just getting back from Cali about a week ago. So, the fire is fitting, and also tonight, the moon is in Aries, you know. So I thought the fire was fitting for that reason as well. It's been a lot that's happened, you guys. Happy New Year. It's been a while since I've been on live. It's been a while since it's been about a month since I actually did a Metaphysical Monday. And it's been since October since I've actually been on camera. But I did, and I hope you guys appreciate that I did go live on my journey, here and there and trying to keep things relevant. But hey, I needed to recharge and didn't even realize how much I needed to recharge. Let me turn my fire down just a little bit. I'm gonna keep it burning for a while though. Again, the fire is transformation, and I chose to use that as a meditation. I didn't really, a few weeks ago, I advertised that I would be coming back on to live on the 3rd of February. However, I didn't do any heavy promotion like I normally would do. And there's, many reasons for that, but I just didn't feel like I needed to promote heavily. I cannot see it. Welcome into whoever is on the Calligraphy TV stream, and welcome to anybody that's watching from Denim Design. I cannot see the comments from Denim Design. I can't see the comments from here. Let me put them on. Yeah, I can see them here on if you're on YouTube. But anyway, so I was just kind of talking about I ain't going saying too much, but Happy New Year. It's a lot going on. Oh my God. So when we stopped, I was speaking on duality. I was building on the cloak of darkness and duality and this all of these different balances that we have to learn to integrate. I kind of went off of that for a minute and I started talking about some other things. But tonight I was compelled to speak on. And I thought about this for a while. So this isn't like just something that's, I just thought about tonight. But this is about been looking at everything that's been going on and I do want to kind of just go over, just the experiences that I had real quick. I'm gonna do the short version, you guys. But so in November, I left and I went on a trip to Vegas with my family. And like I said, if you tuned in, tapped in, I did leave clips and little content and stuff like that. That was during the period of where Americans celebrate Thanksgiving, right? So that was a family time, that whole period where we didn't celebrate Thanksgiving, but we celebrated Family Day because the place we were invited, the woman's, well, my auntie, she's like the auntie to me. She invited us over. She lived in Vegas and she had a dinner at her house. She's Jehovah Witness, so she don't even celebrate Thanksgiving, but she do have a family and friends time. So we went over there. That was really good. I've been so isolated from people and stuff and just doing this work that it was just good to be around family, and that's what I really wanted to drive home. Family is medicine, and it's been a lot of different changes, over the last 6 years with family and, with me and just different, I moved, big things that's happened. So to just get back, so once we got back to when our trip in Vegas ended, I was supposed to come back to Texas and decided, I wanted to stay longer. I wanted to, vibe with the family, visit, So I went on to California, and then, one of my friends, which is also like really my cousin, she had a birthday. She's a Sag, and she did a holiday, like a sweater party, theme party for her birthday on the 15th is when the party was. So we went to the party. I got my ticket changed. Like I said, I did it 3 times. I got my ticket changed. And it was a great party. I mean, it was great just being around people, having a good time, karaoke, everything was just, oh, that bad. And then when I got home that night, and we went to sleep, we got some news that my friend, also like family, that her husband had passed away at work, and it was just like this sudden thing. So we've been going through those things, and it's just been interesting. It's like I said, it's been full of, I just been really, really going with the flow. It was things that I wanted to do that I normally do at home. So I do apologize that I haven't just been able to be present on my platform like I normally am. Um, but I was also told to just, go with the flow. Like, don't try to fight against the current, just go with the flow. And at first I wasn't good with that, but I was doing a I Ching reading, which is the Book of Changes. It's a an Asian, I think it's Chinese divination style. And it was like, they real powerful. It was like, go with the flow, like don't make waves, even though you could, don't be the rebel. This time just go with the flow with everything that's going on. You're gonna face some obstacles. You're gonna face things where it's not necessarily what you want to do, but it's what's going on. So just go with the flow and you'll fare better that way. And I did, I did do like 3 or 4 live streams when I first came out. Like I did that first month I did. But as different things were happening around me, and and I'm going through my spiritual changes, and I'm connecting with family, and certain things they have going on too, and I wanted to be a part of, and things I needed to be a part of, I just let go. And that's why I told you guys, I gave thanks that, and told you I would be back. But I didn't even realize how much I needed that time to just regroup. We talked about last year too, on this platform. We talked about the butterfly, the journey of the butterfly or the caterpillar, and being in the cocoon. And I was talking to you guys before I left, like sometime in like maybe November, October, about this cocoon state that I had been in, and many of us have been in. When you're ready to leave that caterpillar path, when you realize that it leads to nowhere, and you just have to. It's a form of surrender, though, right? So I'm in this cocoon state, but I'm still working. I'm still doing live streams. I'm still taking my time to grieve, and do other things on the side, when I was in that period, And even that, for that, I apologize because I wasn't always present like I should have been. But I had to make sure I'm putting forth the best energy that I could, despite of what was going on. I had to come into a place of surrender because that's what this live is about. This live is about the wisdom to know the difference. And so by going with the flow, things turned out better than I even thought. We had a good time. We had a great time. It was the best of times and it was the worst of times, because losing, my friend's husband, which is a family to me too, that was very traumatizing and devastating for a minute. That's still, that's a hard loss. But we have to keep moving. And I really hope that who this live is for will tap in, and stay with me, because there's going to be some major, major changes, as we can already see, that's taking place. And what this live is about is to give a little inspiration, and just, just some realism as we go through these changes that's taking place now and will continue to take place. So I just wanted to say again, Happy New Year's to everybody. Happy February. And we made it here. So if you here watching this live, if you here still alive, scrolling through, if here since 2020, we made it here. So we have a lot to give thanks for. So I just want to put that energy into the air. And if you hear me refer to BCV, that's what I call the before COVID era. And ACV is the after COVID era, because the whole world changed, once this phenomenon happened. Just so much happened, and we know we don't need to necessarily recant all of that. But I am going to go into some things that I wrote, things that I've been channeling, and things that just I've been just looking into. Um, I wanted to speak on divine acceptance. And like I said, we've been through hella changes in the last 6 years. 2024 also was quite a year, right? I mean, it was some. I had some real, real great moments in 2024, but it also hit a different type of energy, and I noticed that other people were having, a lot of disruptions. So, and I felt like this 2025 year, it just was a continuation of what we've been enduring for 2024. So, a lot of us, if not all of us, have been touched in some way by the challenges and tragedies that has taken place within the last 6 years. It's been a lot of changes that's been thrusted upon us from, you know, for some people, illnesses, accidents, deaths, betrayals, divorces, and I'm looking down at my notes, you guys, financial changes, and long-term arrangements suddenly ending, like jobs that you may have had for years, or projects, or people, or just things that you may have been a part of for a long time, just suddenly coming to an end. Like for me, it was Misty Dream. I've been a part of Misty Dream since 2007, and off and on, but more on than off. And they closed during COVID, so a lot of changes. So we've dealt with all of those things, and it's like people been dealing with things I've seen, and we deal with things in many different ways. Some people have been really in deep despair over these challenges and just stuff that's going on, that's happened, things we've lost. Um, while others have, been doing self-medication, whatever that is, drugs, food, sex, whatever distractions that falls under the self-medication in an attempt, distractions to cope with our pain, or to cope with things that we choose not to deal with. So other people have been using their spiritual tools. They've been using, church, or just whatever they use to work it out. Some people are literally working out, going to the gym, doing their thing. Um, the thing is, though, what I've noticed, even with the New Year's resolutions and all these other things, is the motivation is no longer there. Like, some people are telling me, like clients and just people that I know personally, just they're trying to stay on this path, or they're trying to do these different things, but it's been, the challenges have been overwhelming. I give tools to my clients, and some of them been fighting me with the tools that I'm telling them to apply. It's like it's been like, I want what I want, and I want what I want now. It's been that kind of energy. So give me one moment, you guys. I need to okay. So I'm talking to a friend too today that told me, oh, I have writer's block, and all of these different things been happening. Like, I was flowing and flowing, but all of these different, I don't know, just things aren't really going like accordingly. Like, it's like certain plans and goals we made, and no matter what we do to set out, like it was things I wanted to do in January. I had no idea that I would be in California and for 2 months, so, but it is what it is. Um, it's just been hard to find that inspiration though with all of this negative stuff. You're like, damn, what kind of future are we really about to have with all of these things that's going on in the climate, in the politics, and just really like something bad in the air. Even like with crime and stuff, everything is going up, right? It's been like this invisible pressure, like an invisible pressure in the air. It's been like this, I don't know, these unpredictable changes, and events coming in. We got a lot of political unrest, a lot of climate changes, natural disasters. It's been so much political unrest, and so much with the fires, that I chose not to go live, because Spirit was like, just wait, fall back, and that's what I did that. I had to do that because people are so easily triggered. Even now, that's why I chose to, we have to go into acceptance, because it's so many dark days ahead. But if you can understand the underlying energy and the forces that's working through this, it's easier to put things into perspective. So if you still out here able to survive, you able to pay your bills, you still have a source of income, a job, you still can maintain a peaceful home, And you and health, because health is wealth right now. Count yourself blessed. Count yourself blessed. Give thanks, because in the days that we have ahead, some of these days are going to be so dark that counting your blessings will be the only thing that you have to count on. You get what I mean? Especially for people who they refuse to, it's like they refuse to go with the flow, and you're just constantly going against the grain. So I just ask that may God's good eye continue to be upon us through these dark times, because there is a population and generation of people. And let me stop, because I wanted to open up with prayer and what this build is about. I wanted to open up with the serenity prayer. And the serenity prayer, obviously, most of us know it, but I wanted to kind of go into that tonight because that deals with that divine acceptance. So I just want to give thanks for everybody who's tapped into the live. I want to give thanks for all of the people who supported me, just for all of the people, period. Just for life. I want to give thanks for my family and my ancestors. And I just want to start with the serenity prayer. God grant me the serenity to accept the things that I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And the name of this live is the wisdom to know the difference, because that's what helps us with divine acceptance, is really understanding what you can and cannot change. And so what I was going into was that we're coming into a generation and a population of people who will continue to struggle because and bring misery on themselves, because they don't understand that surrender, radical trust, and divine acceptance is going to play a big role into overcoming and getting through these changes and challenges that we have before us. When we don't feel like our prayers are working, when we don't feel like we're grounded anymore, we feel like, just so many things that are uncertain. And it's not so much that the prayer's not working, but it's like I tell people that do magic, it works in betwixt and between. A spell may not work, just like you may pray for a certain thing and you may not get that. But that doesn't mean stop praying or stop doing your divine intention. I say divine intention, but I still mean prayer. Um, or what people in religion call prayer. So whatever the case, though, I just know that in this energy that we're going to be going into Aquarius, for one, it is going to become lighter. So there's some positives in this, but I'm not going to just say, oh, everything is just dark. But there's going to be a lot of world changes, things that we see and we're already seeing. And you guys already know. I mean, I'm already seeing it on the timeline, like with things that's going on in the government. But just don't it says in this energy though, we have this Pluto with Aquarius energy, and I think it lasts for like 20 years, so this is a long time. So you're going to see many oddities on the planet, many oddities, many new and weird things on the planet, also breakthroughs. But it's going to be a lot of things like people seeing cosmic stuff, or you already hear them talking about UFOs and just all of these different things. With technology and all of the stuff that we have going on, you have to brace yourself, because one of the things that Aquarius represent is the weird, unusual, the unique. So it's innovation. So it's going to be an interesting year. And if we can stay grounded and we can be able to get into divine acceptance, it'll be a lot easier to make these transitions rather than fighting or trying to swim upstream. So we're in a different world now from whereas old generation come from, the Gen Xers, the baby boomers, and even the small generation of the silent generation is still here. The millennials, even, they still got to see the world in a state when it was not the way it is now. And we're in a place now, though, from the millennials forward, where we're in the age of customization. We're in the age of microwave solutions, where we're kind of used to literally having somewhat control over our world, over our day-to-day things. We feel more in control of our destinies. We have this false sense of power with our technologies and different things. Sometimes it's because of the money we may have or whatever makes us feel secure. Um, and whatever we've achieved as humans that make us feel as if we are in control and in power. Um, And see, the thing is, we're never really in control like we think we are. God is in control, right? This, even if you don't believe in God or whatever you call it, this system, this cosmic system, this space-time continuum, it has certain laws and happenings and events that cannot be altered or changed. And even the will, which I want to get into next time. Um, I want to go back over the houses in astrology. I want to speak to what I call the will of God. And when I look at Ezekiel and the will and the will, they talk about God's providence, that the will that they were speaking of was God's providence. I'm going to talk about that in my next live, but I see it as the will of events, the will of fortune, the will of faith, the cycle of life, um, the good and the bad, the ugly, all of the things that we go through. Um, that's a part of human nature, a part of existence, a part of our learning, a part of our growth. So when we get to a space in the will that's the dark part of the will, it's certain things that we have to come to accept. That doesn't mean passively accepting without doing anything. It doesn't mean just, you know, but it's kind of hard to fight the heavens. It's kind of hard to fight what is and which you can't change. So that's when we get to that. It is what it is, right? So I wanted to talk about, and I was just going to say that we have this sense of security and power a lot of times, and we tend to forget about God. We put God in a box many times because the forces, God, nature, the Neteru, it permits a lot. It permits a lot. So much that we forget about it. We forget that there's something operating that's higher than ourselves. We, the world tolerates a lot, from success to bad behavior, to happy events, to challenges, quick fixes, criminal activities. We may get away with all of these things for a while and really feel empowered, right? But we know what happens when it's time to, when the wheel turns around on us, right? And a lot of times we do things that where challenging events oddly work out in our favor. But it's not going to always be like that. And I know that we are going through some really, really dark transits. And there's going to still be people, even now, trying to grab hold of what you can't control, like Lauren say, right? And that's really the trickiest part of the serenity prayer. It says, God grant me the serenity, which is the peace, the calm, the ability to be cool or calm in the midst of a hardship, in the midst of something, in the eye of the storm, something you cannot change. That's the serenity to accept what I cannot change. Because there's just some changes that you just, we went over that already, but I'm gonna touch on it again. And then it says the courage to accept the things or to change the things that I can, right? And the wisdom to know the difference. And that's really the trickiest part to me, is the wisdom to know the difference, or the discernment to know the difference. Because we can look at it from both ways, from the courage to change what I can. There are people who feel they lack power when certain events happen. They lack the power, they lack the energy or the inspiration to change certain things in life. We all know people like this. I mean, we've been people like this, where you complaining, or you just laying in despair, and refusing to really look at a situation you can't change. Somebody give you a solution, you find 30 reasons why it won't work, right? You just want to be wedded to your misery. And there's people that can literally change these things. Um, they'll stay in a rut. They'll stay lamenting over what's not going right, what they can't change. And instead of looking for the way they responding to these things, like how can, like you have to be able to put, effort in to get a desired result. So it's certain things that you can't make an effort to get. I'm sorry if I'm kind of running things together. I apologize, I'm going too fast. Let me start again. We have been in a mental space or rut, lamenting over what's not going right or not changing, but maybe not seeing that we have the power to change the circumstance if we would put more effort to get the desired result that we want. Okay. So when it's saying knowing what you can change and the courage to make those changes in every situation, that presents a challenge, that's the first thing which we should ask ourselves is, do we have the power to change this? You know, it can be certain things that you literally could make effort, like if you lose a job, but you don't go out and look for another job. You just sit around and lament over the old job and I'm gonna lose my house. All of these different things instead of literally putting in the work and letting go. Because sometimes it's because whatever we've lost or whatever that challenge is, we refuse to let go of the outcome of what it is. It is what it is, right? So it's times when we don't know when to let go of a situation. We'll continue to try, which goes to the other side of things, the things you cannot change, right? It's refusing. Like the ego won't allow us to let a certain situation go or a certain thing go, you got a certain gripe with a person or a certain dispute. And and it's times where you could just walk away, but you want to continue to throw fire on it, right? You can't accept it, the relationship that doesn't work, right? Just whatever it is, so there's just certain things that we have to learn though, that with all of the power, with all of the money in the world and all of the man-made power on this planet, we still won't be able to change it. There's times when people in governmental positions have been murked, boom, taken right out the game. There's times when people's health, supersedes all of the things and power that they have. So we know that there's just things we can't change. We know that there's universal absolutes such as the sun shining or daylight, day versus night, all of those things, stars, the weather, the weather. And I was listening to something today, I think they call it Dream Chasers. And it says, when we talk about like the weather, you can't change the weather, but you can choose to bring an umbrella or not, right? So there's just certain things we can't change. It's kind of like, and this is on a mild level, but just to understand, because there's going to be some major changes. And this is why, if this sounds kind of redundant, even, I hope not, but it's like, when you plan like a day out, like you may put a lot into a big event. You like, I'm gonna plan this event. You've planned it for months. You put hundreds and hundreds of dollars into the event. You've invited tons of people, just whatever it is. And, it rains that day. And they may have said it on the news the day before. And if so, that's the easy fix, right? You're disappointed, but you may have to think out of the box and change the venue or do something different. But it could be during the event and then it rains, right? And everything's getting wet, the people, your hairdo, all of this stuff. But in that space, you can choose to, I mean, what you do, fight with the sky, right? You can't fight with the sky. So the only thing you can do is try to improvise. Or you could just, kick the table over and throw all of the food and cuss everybody out and pick fights with the people that's there that can't do nothing about it either. I mean, there's many ways we can respond to things we choose. And it's gonna be one of those kind of eras where we're, gonna be dealt certain things. And it's not always just personal stuff. It's things that's happening universally, things that's happening like I said, in the government, in our country, namely America, in other countries as well, because every action you're gonna get a reaction. So, it's a lot. I don't want to go into, the because I don't always, I don't, just because it's, certain things are taking place don't necessarily mean it's going to play out the way people plan. So I don't put my worries on that. That's why I said, we have to get to a place of radical trust. What's meant to be will be, what is, right? So I'm not going to waste too much time worrying and fighting like a lot of people, how they get outraged about the election and the outcome and all of that. But I mean, what can you do about it? And that's the things, again, you got to look at what you can change even within that. You know, I anyway, let me see if I covered what I wanted to say on this. Yeah, I was just speaking to understanding the things that we can't change, because that's the that's the make or break right there. If you know what you can change and what you can't change, because when you working on things and fighting against things that you cannot change, then you wasting a lot of energy. You're wasting a lot of energy on things that you could be recreating, setting new goals, looking at where do you go from here? What do you do in the meantime, right? And there's many things that we just can't change, like death or a guilty prison sentence, right? Terminal illness, you know, um, incurable, not necessarily terminal, but incurable illnesses that can be contracted or whatever, just whatever that thing is. Because I've heard a lot of negative things that people have came to me with, and it's a lot. It's very heavy, and I'm like, whoa, from death to disease to, losing stuff, and as a practitioner, it's like I want people to feel good, but I have to also be real. I can't just sell you a dream, and it can't always just be love and light and everything's gonna be great, just manifest. We're going into some interesting times, you guys. And it's more about, in this space, you may not even be going through this now. So for some people, you may not feel that, but for the majority of us, we're all feeling these different things. So what can we control in the meantime? In the meantime is in that space where that space of surrender, in that space of radical trust, in the space of divine acceptance. What can we focus on? What can we control? You can control your reactions. You can set new goals. Like I said, you can look at future actions. Think about what your next move will be. Taking that time to just give to yourself and your spirit. You can change the way you respond to others. You can choose a different time to do it. And nobody said we have to just sit and be passive, but there's just going to be some world changes that we cannot stop. It's just some things that we just kind of got to go with it. Um, but what happens to us when we learn to accept events as they are? There can be pain. Our egos can be destroyed, especially in our personal lives, because it's going to be personal changes too. Believe that. In relationships and all kind of things, just things, because we have to get real now. We moving literally. It's not that we even moving into heavier times. We're just going through a transition that requires change. And we're literally going into lighter times. Really, once we go through this transitional period, because the transition itself is where it feels dark and heavy, and we have to get used to things that we may not be accustomed to, or but really we're going into air. We're going into a time of air, Aquarius. So that's going to be a time that's actually lighter, a time of humanitarianism, a time of powerful leadership for those that can, a time of, like I said, new technologies. But we don't just wake up and be in that space. I mean, people are used to what they're used to. We're used to a certain lifestyle. We're used to certain truths that were true at a time that are no longer true today. And yeah, it's gonna be, we kick and we scream a lot of times. But what I am saying is that the less we kick and scream, the easier it's gonna be to fit into these transitions and get ready to align ourselves with the new earth. Because it's happening regardless of we want it to happen or not. Not just the people are changing, the climate is changing, the earth itself is changing. So this is a divine time now to prepare. Prepare in any way you need to prepare. Um, where was I at? Yeah, instead of like being in this space, because some of the things we may be experienced, like I said, it could be the crash, not just a ding or a bruise to the ego, but literally a desecration, being destroyed, the ego being destroyed, the whole way you saw life, the whole way we saw money and what we're about to do, and fame and fortune and all this stuff. Things are starting to level out now on the planet. And of course, it's going to be cognitive dissonance for some. Your beliefs are being challenged. Your beliefs are being overthrown. Um, yeah, societal expectations are different. And but to see the blessing in the trickery that's going on, some of the things that people think they're gonna do or get away with on us, right? Certain powers that feel, because they don't know their world is being rocked too, not just ours. We all are having these experiences. I mean, it rains on the just and the unjust, right? So nobody is exempt. They not God, not like that. No more than we are. Just in the avatar of. But you get what I mean. There's still a one source that has that say, or has that, it's already in order. It's already in the divine plan. But when things start going array or going awry in a way that people don't like it, yeah, it's gonna be warlike energy. Yeah, it's gonna be people fighting to keep their beliefs in place, and to be right and to be justified, and to keep things the way they were on that old paradigm, when it's really, really time for it to shift. But Pluto gonna destroy it. Uranus is going to destroy it, whether you believe that or not, whether you call it that or not. The energies that's been studied for thousands of years, you know, the way the world is cyclic, and the way it plays out. We're going into a new world and a new earth. And if you can take that time to be patient, that time to get aligned through meditation, through acceptance, through letting go of those things that's, not holding on to things that's wanting to go anyway, not looking back at Sodom and Gomorrah, you know, speaking to like things that no longer, places that no longer serve us. You have to, you got to move forward, and you got to trust. That's what radical trust is. And that's honestly, that's what I get from the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. When the people were looking back and they were turning into salt, well, I get a lot from it because it's powerful. But when they were turning into salt, it's because they didn't have radical trust. They didn't have radical trust for the process. They got the angel of the Lord there in the story. And even with the angel of the Lord present, even with starseeds present, even with soul jets present, even with conscious people present, they still chose to look back. So back is where they stay, while everything else is moving forward, So in this space, it's not easy. And if we gotta, do whatever you gotta do, but just don't stay in that space too long. We can go into a space of denial and fighting and attempting to force things and people to be like we want them to be. But it's almost like fighting for a love relationship that no longer wants you, that no longer loves you. Your lover moved on, but every person your ex is with, you want to try to fight the person. You want to beat them up and do all of this other stuff, or cause problems. But I mean, that doesn't, that even if you were able to break the people up, I mean, all you cause is resentment within a relationship, and they'll move on anyway. If they won't move on to the person that you tried to create problems with, it'll be with somebody else. And I think that's one of the hardest things, that in life that we've had to accept, other than death, is losing people that we really love, um, in relationships and in friendships, people that we've built with, broke bread with, people we've trusted, and who turned around and betrayed us and turned on us. And one day they love you and now they don't. That's tough. People that you've shared confidences with, and but in this world, and in the way the world is turning, you're gonna see so much more of that, because people got life fucked up, y'all. Excuse my language, but they got it. You know, None of us have all of the answers. Nobody's perfect. But this paradigm that they've had us on as humans, this way of thinking, this programmed mindset that we've adopted, these things that we've grown accustomed to, and traditions that we look to almost as milk, almost like it nurtures us, like when you eat a whole bunch of food for comfort, comfort food. And so it's going to be, a lot of it's going to be pain in that. Now, like I said, for those that are more detached in that way, it may be an easier shift. But what I am just really asking us to do as a community, and I didn't even announce my shit. I say welcome to the new Soul Jet community. If I didn't, I'm saying it now. I'm High Priestess Sister Cola Soul Jet and Zinga Joseph Allah. Thank y'all for tapping in tonight. It's been a while, so I'm a little, trying to get the information out. But like another example, I would just wanted to say that we have to watch where we put our energy on, because even that is a trick. Even that is a thing that can keep you locked into the paradigm of not accepting, is allowing, getting yourself too locked into what's going on in the news, what's going on in politics, and, people, I mean, literally fighting in the streets over Donald Trump and shit. I mean, people literally not talking to their own family members over Donald Trump, somebody that you probably will never ever meet, never ever see, but on the TV screen. And I'm not saying that that's not a problem, but what I am saying is that that's one of them things that you can't just say, I want him gone. You have to do whatever steps that is, whether that's organizing yourself or doing whatever you need to do. I don't know, because I'm not into politics like that. I'm in it, but I'm not in it. I don't. I'm in it, but not of it, if that makes sense. Okay, but it's too much of just wasting energy, hating people and getting mad. I didn't see people fight. I've been attacked. I've been attacked because I wasn't all up in arms like everybody else was about certain things. Because we not a monolith. And not only that. I know that there's bigger things as a conscious woman, and I've been in this field for so long that I know that there's bigger things at play. So I'm not gonna sit here and just be like, oh my God, P. Diddy, he's the devil, he's the most evil person in the world, and Trump. It's so many players in this game. It's so many players in this game that's gonna be exposed. That Pluto energy is going to expose, and so many tricks and people that you really think is down that is a part of the game too. They're part of the game too. Some of the people that randomly watch me and never interact, shit, they part of the game. They trying to see how much I know. And they like, oh, long as she ain't got many people watching, it's not a big deal. But at the end of the day, we still got to do the things that we set out to do when we were told many years ago to prepare for the battle, for the change, for all of these different things. We still need to be mindful of our diet. We still need to keep water on deck, cases of it, or whatever we need to do. We still need to have our apothecaries and healing cabinets and all of these different things, and do our meditation. And if you're into yoga, whatever you do, whatever kind of movement you do, whatever type of rituals you have, whatever type of prayer work you do, whatever you do to keep yourself spiritually clean, keep your mind sound. This is the time that we're not going to just talk about it, we're going to be about it, because there's going to be so much pain in times that we're going through right now, so much darkness from what we're used to. That's when you got to shine your light. It's nowhere else to go but in. You know what I mean? It's nowhere else to go but in. You can continue to fight with the wind, and you continue to battle, and just do all of these things. That's what I was trying to say when I spoke about even the revolutionary mindset. If you got a strategy, and it's something that you can win, or at least have a good chance of getting to where you got to go, then yeah, I would probably be in. But the fact that most people, they really don't, and they marching around like ants in a death march, miss me with that shit. I'm not here for that. I'm here for what we can change. And I do have the wisdom to know the difference. And if I don't have the wisdom, I'm going to get the wisdom. I'm a discern, just like we all have to do, to make sure we know what we can and what we can't change. We don't want to lose people over senselessness, because it's a lot of senselessness. Of course, the death toll and all of these things are going to go up as people are beginning to stress, as egos are being rocked, as the world is beginning to change, and we don't know what the hell is going on, right? But that's why we have Oracle. That's why y'all can come to Oracle and to people like myself, or getting tapped into your own inner Oracle to know what's going on. You know, it's going to be times where you literally feel like you're going crazy. Remember, we're going into the age of Aquarius. That's the mind, right? So if you're not able to go with the flow or wade in the water, I was even saying that to you guys. Like, I didn't know what to say at that time, because things were so overwhelming. So I did what Spirit gave me. And it said, just be peace. Wade in the water, because we can't even fight fights that's not our fights. You also got to know what fight is yours and what fight ain't yours. You know what I mean? And just think on that. For those that's won't know, if you know, you know. You fight the battles that's yours to fight. But you take that other energy and you use that on strengthening yourself, becoming stronger, inner and outer strength, and put that energy into creating new things. That's the time to focus on your creations. I know it may sound out there, but no, that's the time to create new ways. If you lose your job, sometimes we got to create a job, and we are in that time where you can do out of the box things. That's part of the Aquarian energy too. And people literally patronize it or support you more than you know, right? But I'm not gonna say that with these changes that are really, really difficult, that grieving is not a part of it, or we can't fight about it or get upset. Yeah, do whatever you need to do in that space. We're gonna get some blows, and some of it is gonna be political stuff, some of it is gonna be personal things that we can't do anything about. Um, but in that space, it's okay to lose, to go off in yourself or holler, whatever you need to do, but don't lose yourself in it. It's okay to grieve, because we do lose ourselves in it at times, but we want to not get so deep where we can't pull ourselves back. Because what I fear, and this is why I'm going into psychology, I'm looking into some things now, because I deal with, when you're talking about psychology, that's the study of the soul. When you're dealing with tarot, when you're dealing with spirituality and oracle, and understanding the human condition, metaphysics, understanding the things that we go through, and how we're akin to nature and the cosmos, and just connected to everything, other people, energy. You know, it becomes a when we that's when we can fully awaken to just know how tapped in we are. So it's very important to get connected, to do those things that we were taught from the beginning, to use those tools that we have, because we're going to need those tools. And it's not just about reading the books and having the books and, oh yeah, I did whatever I did. We have to now operate. What do I always talk to you guys about? Spiritual application. You don't know what works until you try it. So that's why I said there's no need to be in fear. Certain things that we got to surrender to, just surrender. The things that you can't change, change them. But understand the limitation. Don't just be so stubborn and just spinning your wheels. And you clearly see people is even bringing you evidence of new information, and you refuse to see it. Well, how you gonna navigate through the next era of life, as life is changing and the world is changing, and you still operating on a different radio station that don't even have, nobody can even reach that station no more. It's non-existent. But the point is, and I'm fidgeting a lot, you guys. I am, because I'm kind of going off just kind of going, off script right now. So, but I just wanted to, just bring that in, that, and I'm gonna talk more about it, because I want to talk about the will. I want to go into the will. I want to go into how that was developed. And I talked about it before, but I want to talk about it again. We got too many doubters. This will that I'm talking about, the will of faith, the will of fortune. Um, I call it God's will, and I'm not speaking to God's will. And I'll explain that. Like I said, it's when I say God, I'm speaking to creation itself. I'm speaking to the one source. I'm speaking to the I am, the all knowing, because there's so many things we think we know. But if you think you can limit God to one book and just the Bible is it, or only the Quran, or only the Book of the Dead, or whatever it is, you mistaken. Because God is so much more massive than that. The spirit, the energy, the we call it God, but this force that is the force that keeps the wheel turning, that gives us our experiences, that allows us to be and to move around and create, and to experience life in the physical, to experience life in the physical form. Because we can't forget, at the core, we're spirits. We're spiritual beings having a physical experience, right? So at our core, that's who we are. The world is spiritual. We're about to go into some interesting energy, you guys. So I'm not gonna just rant on and on about it. I think I've covered just the message I wanted to get about, and that's to, when you see these things that are gonna be taking place, and you already starting to see certain things, don't move in fear. Don't move in fear, and don't let grief override you. And the reason I say don't move in fear, because there's something greater that's taking place. So it's not a doomsday live stream. This isn't about, oh yeah, death and destruction, be scared. No, it's be mindful, be aware of the things that's going on, and be ready. Because this is the time now to use all of those tools you're getting from TikTok and all these other places, and all of this stuff we've been talking about. I'm sorry, you guys. That's for the people, the generations that TikTok teaches, people a lot of stuff. So For some of us older generation people, we've studied for so long. It's like we've been waiting for different things to take place and to transform, but we here. We are in those days and in those times. So um, keep yourself strong. Keep your mind strong. That's the most important thing. Ego is one of the in our expectations. I had left the video about also attachments. When we get so attached to things, but the ego and these expectations that could be unrealistic is what puts us in this misery. It's what hurts us. It's what breaks our heart. It's what makes us think we're not worthy, we're not good enough, and feelings of being rejected and all of these different things. Shit in life is just gonna happen, and sometimes horrible things happen. That's not even just the regular, you know, stuff. Just horrible things that we just can't explain and don't understand why, like why me or why this person or whatever. But slavery, that was a hard era. Something that I would love to research more and to build on about what was going on astrologically, and I have already studied a little bit, but just even going deeper into what was going on at that time, because it was almost like it was global, and I don't even want to touch on that tonight because I that's going to open up some other things. I just want to keep us on task with getting ready for that divine acceptance, radical trust for, you got to trust, man. If you say you believe in God or believe that there's some type of a higher power at work, then, you know, you got to be able to know that there's an unseen thing, an unseen plan. There's certain things that you may not be able to see with the physical eye, but you can feel it if you take the time to, some of us are way more sensitive than others, but for those that may be like constantly in the physical body, just moving around and not taking that time to allow spirit into the vessel and really just dissecting and just observing things around you, you can miss it. You can miss it. You can miss the blessing in all of this chaos. So I wanted to read the I Ching about acceptance, and we can close on that. And I'm hoping to also get on the next show. I don't know. I'm gonna talk about something, but I'm also hoping to get the guests back lined up. So if anybody's watching who has been on Metaphysical Monday and would like to come on again, or for those of you who've never been on Metaphysical Monday and you'd like to build with us, and you got something that can help elevate humanity, that deals with spirituality, culture, esoteric, community, make sure you tap in with me, okay? You can tap in on Denim Design. Um, yeah, or leave a comment. Don't leave a comment. Inbox if you serious. Okay, so I'm gonna read this message that I got for acceptance. Um, so acceptance, and if you and also going deeper into that, the Taoism and Buddhism, they have a real good philosophies and philosophical way of approaching life and acceptance. So let me see. So the sign they were talking about is the I Ching sign. When they say this sign, so the sign of acceptance stands for receptive and a dedicated force of nature. Nature brings forth all creatures, bringing good as well as evil, while it's preserving in equal portions the balance of give and take. Try to understand this law of nature, integrate it into your life, and act in accordance with it. Accept your destiny joyously. This will strengthen your life force and reaffirm your character, but also conform to the community. In the midst of all this activity, you should not forget to put your own life in order. And when they say conform to the community, what I get from that is there's times like I had to do when I just was on my journey that we just kind of got to go with the flow of the majority, especially when it's something that benefits the whole. And you may have your own gripe or your own idiocracy that just goes against the grain, but it's not that serious when it comes to the community, when it comes to the community that you're a part of. Okay, so in the midst of all this activity, you should not forget to put your own life in order at the same time. Create space for yourself in order to take stock and to be able to contemplate a future course in life. Luck will be on your side if you successfully marry dynamic strength and dedication and sensitivity. Successfully marry dynamic strength, dedication, and sensitivity. Okay, so that's it's speaking to acceptance. And I don't think I need to read it again. I started to, but that's kind of redundant. I won't be overly Virgo tonight. Anyway, you guys, I hope that that helped. And I am gonna actually pull a couple of cards too, and then I'm gonna end my live. This is just for some more messages that's coming in. Um, I'm speaking to some people, and I wanted to talk about acceptance because we're gonna be going again into the will. So I will be bringing that. Wanted to bring some information about the way I see the will, and just also to reiterate going over the astrological houses and the development that the ancient Egyptians or the Kims, the Kemetic people, they actually, like we always do. The Babylonians, they had their system, for a while, and then the Egyptians built upon what they already had. But we already had our own. The Egyptians already had their own star cluster system anyway. The stars have always been. It's a map of heaven. They just found a way to categorize it to make it easier for people on the planet, for humans to understand. It's more complex than we even know. And that's the reason why the scientists and the physicists can't really totally embrace it, because it's deeper than they can even conceive. It's like everything is not going to be something that you can prove or see with the tangible eye, and it's still things that need to yet be discovered. It's still things that we have yet to discover. So just because we haven't discovered it don't mean it's not there. I don't mean it's not real or it's not in existence. So even if all of those, everything was wrong about the names of astrology and stuff, it's still a system that we've studied that affects the happenings on planet Earth. And yeah, affects us for good and bad. Okay, this is interesting. So the three cards I got is savor and pleasure. And that's part of also acceptance too. We may not be able to do all of those things. Even like with foreign travel, my heart was set on going to Cuba in 2026. I have some other things planned, Dominican Republic, just different things I want to do. But with stuff that's happening in the world right now, and for others that may have those same inclinations, it may not be the best time to be doing all of this different traveling. And if you do understand the political climate of where you're going, that's important. You can end up getting stuck somewhere, or whatever. But it's saying savoring the pleasure. So it's for some people, it's just telling you to take that time, take that bubble bath, take that relaxation time. For some of you, you need to go get massages. Just do whatever, or give a massage. Get one, give one. We don't always have to go out and get one, but I need to go out and get a professional massage because. Anyway, I fully embrace bliss in my life. So this is like in the midst of the storm, still finding things that you can count your blessings on, that you can still be happy about, that you can still take pleasure in, even if it's simple pleasures, like taking that personal time for yourself. I'm hearing that even for like people that have maybe you have a lot of children, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 children, and you're a mother that don't give yourself much time. You may need to carve that. That may be a must, not a one day I'm gonna do this, but you may need that for your mental. You may need that for your whoever needs that. You know, mending bridges also come in. And so this is messages that's coming in about forgiveness. And this is again a collective message. So some of you guys will be mending bridges. You are the bridge mender in the family, the one that holds everybody together and pull everyone together. You may also be the one that's always having to be the bigger person. But I'm gonna say this also: if someone in the family is our friend circle is wanting to mend a bridge with you, and it's something that's mendable, try and do that. Because, like I said, family is medicine. And as we're going into new tribes and strengthening old tribes, well, let me say this right. Some tribes that we have that we're going to be forming in this new age will be new people. It won't be the same people that we grew up with. They may not even share your blood, but that doesn't mean that the old tribe. See, we have to sometimes reinforce. If people are coming back, especially if they can accept you for who you are, especially like for myself, one of my girls, shout out to Dorena. Man, she was just like, they can't accept you for who you are because we all gotta have some. That's another form of acceptance, even that, you know, acceptance, not just accepting things that's bigger than us and the challenges of the world, but accepting other people. When you say you love people and stuff, but what a person believes or what they choose to look like or something like that, that kills the love that you have for this person. You can't find it in your heart to forgive a person because they believe something different than you. All of those kind of things we need to really think about. There's people that really need people right now. There's people that's isolated, people that's lonely, people that's hurting, people that's too damn stubborn to bring it back together. So what I am saying, even if we are forming different tribes, if somebody that you got love for, they got love for you, and they trying to mend a bridge with you, even if y'all don't have love, but be mindful of that. But if it's a loved one, especially, you got to have a tenderness for that. And I got a lot of people that I probably need to if these people came back to me that have treated me kind of messed up, that's in my family and stuff, I know me and I would lovingly forgive them. That doesn't mean that we're going to continue to travel on the same journey, and I'm okay with that, and they got to be okay with that. But if you have an opportunity to accept a person, I'm hearing like even how some of us are mad at our parents and parents mad at their own children and just things like that. That's soul connections that even if you can't just be kumbaya, that you need to get in order to get that peace you need, in order to get that final piece of healing, that void that still may be there, even when you feel like you've gotten everything and you got everybody you need around you. Mend that bridge just for yourself, because some people won't be here. Some people will be checking out. That may be something that helps them on their journey. And the last thing they want from you is your forgiveness. Some people you don't even know going to be checking out. That's what I'm saying about acceptance. People just life is changing so fast, and that's why I said we need to give thanks that we're here right now. If you're able to watch this live, if you're able to still be here, every day I wake up and I just give thanks and I say I'm glad to be in the service. That was a church song we used to sing. I'm glad to be in the service of creation of the Most High one more time. So every day we wake up, if you don't have nothing else to be happy about, you got to find joy in just being able to be in the service of the Most High, in the service to be able to do it better, in the service to be able to make a change. Even if you were diagnosed with a bad disease, but it's not a terminal disease, but it's a bad one, and it is no cure for it, you have an opportunity, even if it's terminal, to choose the way you spend the rest of your days, the way you treat people, to have your spirit be lighter, and for those that is not terminal, to overcome, to still find reasons to live, to not just throw in the towel, to not just be mean and cruel because this has happened. You may be used as an advocate for somebody, or it may be you find a new healing cure. You may find a cure yourself because you didn't have no other choice. You want to live. You want your child to live. You want your loved one to live. So you finding solutions. So what I learned, because I have a lot of anger towards people, even as I'm journeying towards my family and friends, but in the past, because a lot of things happened from 2017, and I just went through all of these changes, and then I moved in 2020. But I'm just saying that to say this. um I had to heal that because I learned when I just went with the flow, because I was coming with that militaristic kind of energy, like still hard, was nothing, I'm good, just hard, just attacking my parents sometime and attacking my friends and people that well, when I say friends, I'm talking about very close people, because just for them to even get to a place where they can hurt me, they would have to be extremely close. But I was just so bitter about things from the past, instead of maybe telling them or talking about it or just accepting. Everybody's not an apologizer. Sometimes it's their actions and gestures that we have to see it for what it is, and embrace people and meet them where they are. And whoever that message is for, they got people that's gonna still be hell bent on not forgiving, and that's cool too. That's for you. That's a you problem. That ain't got nothing to do with us over here. Okay, so for others, it's about communication. It says communicating freely. I communicate from the depths of my being. So in this last card here is, again, doing what I'm doing. Speak your truth. Some of you guys will also be starting platforms. They're going to be people that it's time for that. We need what you got. The world needs what you got. Somebody needs what you got. It may be an apology that you haven't said yet. Don't let it be too late. Don't let the sun go down before saying those things you need to say. Letting your child, letting your loved one know that you actually love them. You may be a person that don't express emotion much or don't tell people how you feel much. To tell that friend, whatever it is, to communicate those ideas, for us to hear your voice. You have a beautiful singing voice. You just hide. I mean, what you waiting on, right? But whatever that form of communication is, especially if it can create peace and harmony in a space where you may not be saying nothing. And again, back to the person that's the bridge mender, and if you're reluctant to say something, if you're the mediator of the family or the person that people look to for mediation, it's time for you to communicate freely. If it's somebody that's wedded in a misery, like we spoke about, that can't accept things. See, sometimes we don't have an issue ourselves with accepting. Everybody's not the same. We, like, for myself, it's always hard initially, but I just kind of go with it. That's just who I am. A lot of us Black people, for sure, and people that's lived in poverty or lived in hard times, we've already been conditioned to surrender because we don't have no choice. The majority of us, right? That's why so many of them lean on church and stuff like that. Is all we had, in our community. And for the rebels, of course, they'll find a way, and sometimes it works, and other times we hit our head. And I was a rebel, I'm still a rebel to a degree, but I'm also a realist, and I understand the things I can change and the things I can't change. And when I don't know, again, I pray for the wisdom. We have to pray for that wisdom, or ask God to bring in that wisdom to know the difference of what we can and cannot change. And yeah, it get like that when you feel like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place. So, again, be cool, y'all. That's all I can say. Be cool. Because it's gonna be some hot moments, that we going through right now. Trying to see, is there anything else that I wanted to touch on? Mm, to finish my thought. There's some of us that we are good at acceptance, but for those that aren't, it's gonna be times where you gotta communicate freely to that friend of yours that's wedded to their misery, to that person that just can't get out of the grief or can't get over whatever their situation is. There are gonna be people that need to hear that realness. So don't be afraid. We can't be afraid to speak our truth. Some people that need to be told off. You know what I mean? In a good way, with love. And we don't always have to. Acceptance is also accepting people in certain characters that they have that may be different from ours, or sometimes it's that, like I said, accepting people for who they are. And just being okay with that's who this person is. Not messed up stuff, but I'm saying just things that may differ. They may be slow, like, um, you tell them a certain time and they just not on time. But we know that that's who that person is. They may have all of these other great things. And that's the other thing too. If people got, we got to look at duality again, back to that, the balance. If I'm starting to see, like, there's people that's made me mad and did things that I feel kind of double cross me, but when I do look at the good that they've done too, like, let me just really measure this. Like, this person did this, and they were there for me you know when I didn't even have nothing to eat or whatever it is, right? So why would I hold this one thing or this one flaw, this one character trait against this person? So sometimes that also deals with acceptance. And acceptance is not tolerance either, you guys. I'm just gonna put that out there. When people say I'm 420 tolerant, then I can't live with you because you got to be 420 friendly, Or somebody is like, oh, I'm religious tolerant, even though that's cool that they tolerant, that may not be a good living arrangement. Y'all may not need to get on those types of subjects and stuff like that. But anyway, you guys, I'm gonna stop here. I'm just ranting on. I hope you guys enjoyed the live, and I'm gonna pull one more last message. Just one more. Prioritize. That kind of helps too when we in the midst of the meantime, or when we're in a space where we have to accept things. Things are just all over the place. It's saying that it's time to prioritize. Focus on your highest priority, and I will help you get organized and motivated. And talking about spirit, God will help you get organized and motivated. But this is also where things just seem like all over the place. And, some of it is just prioritizing what's important and literally prioritizing what's important, because some people are going to have to learn to accept that you're not always available. Some people are going to have to learn to accept that you can't always say yes to them, so acceptance can go in a lot of different, manifestations and play out in many different ways. But the acceptance that is the most important is the things that's bigger than us, the things that may, seek to take us down, but we have to stay centered, stay grounded, always go to the center, and what I mean is go to the source, and the source is within, not without. So that's what I got. And you guys have a blessed night. Thank you for tapping into the live. I'll be back on next Monday. I'll also be on during the week for Soul Jet Activation Hour on Friday. And I'm not really sure what else I'm going to do. I'm going to probably do some readings on Wednesday or something. I'm not sure, you guys, but I'll let you guys know ahead of time so you can tap in. If you like the live, hit like, please subscribe. Check out my content that I have on the page. And yeah, be cool. Conscious Outcast Gang Gang. Once again, this is Cola Soul Jet, High Priestess of Trap Magic and the new Soul Jet Healing Community. Peace. Well, before I end, let me see what we got here. Do I have anything to show? Yeah, my outro. Let me see. Let me elevate your mind to the G state. I can hold your attention like booty shake. I can make you rise up like fire snake. Talking Kundalini fire, let's keep it straight. Hit me first thing in the morning, that's wake and bake. I can make you feel great, frosted flakes. But when it's time to get up, don't hesitate. Time to go and get the money and you're running late. I know this honeycomb make it hard to concentrate. Close your eyes, breathe with me, king, meditate. And let our soul GPS start to navigate. All the bullshit every day we gotta regulate. Every move we make together gotta calculate. We build a house from the dirt to the picket gate. If you got it from me, shoulda didn't dictate. I'ma listen, be a queen, be a helpmate. Can't nobody separate us, stuck duct tape. I love it so heavy, baby, we be pushing weight. The distance that I will go, man, interstate. Hold me tight and surrender to your interstate. Let a rise take our body to a higher place. I'm a goddess reflecting, you look up in my face. Every time we embrace, I want another taste. Take your time when we fucking, this is not a race. Go slow and deep in and take it to a faster pace. Got my body tied up, is a shoelace. Got to be rocking the drum, but it's a beat bass. Breaking up is no conversation, a close case, nigga.